The uncomfortable truths about why the EV credits had to die. Last year, Americans bought a record 1.3 million electric vehicles. It's unclear just how many people took advantage of the EV tax credits, whether through a purchase or a lease to do that. But that credit, and some outrageously good deals from the automakers, undoubtedly helped a lot of people break up with gasoline. That party comes to an end next week, when the EV tax credit expires under the provisions of President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And sooner than expected, too. The credits were originally scheduled to phase out around 2032 as part of the Inflation Reduction Act. So why did it have to be this way? Were EV tax credits doomed from the start? And why is America so different from markets that are electrifying much more quickly, like China and Europe? Someone could write a whole book on that topic. For now, you get the highlight reel version in today's Critical Materials, our morning roundup of industry and technology news. What happened to the EV tax credits? The short answer to that question is that they were killed by Trump and the Republican-controlled Congress as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act's cost cuts. After all, one study by Penn Wharton found that all the clean vehicle provisions in the IRA would cost about $393 billion between 2023 and 2032. That's an easy target when you're trying to cut government spending, but the actual reasons go much deeper than politics now. Some EV tax credits were introduced in the second George W. Bush administration. During the Biden years, the idea was that tax credits would spur EV demand, car and battery manufacturing at home, and set America up to compete with China as a new energy powerhouse. That was the carrot. The stick was ever stricter fuel economy and emissions rules that would have led to a mostly electric new car market by the 2030s. If anything, the move was pro-capitalism, a gift to automakers to adapt their businesses to compete long-term. Today, Automotive News examines why that didn't pan out. One reason is something I've said before too. Americans simply do not like being told what to do. The credit, along with EV requirements from some states, fed the idea that the government was forcing consumers to buy EVs. The USA consumer is really different, said Raul Arredondo, principal consultant at e-mobility strategy marketing and a former manager of international product planning at FCA. The main thing is that you shall not tell me what to do. If I want to shoot myself in the face, it's my right to shoot myself in the face. If I want to spend twice as much money over the life cycle of a vehicle, it's my right. And then there's just how complex the rules were, which led to very few EVs qualifying for the tax credit at purchase, and the vast majority getting the price cut only when leased. The Inflation Reduction Act, which took effect in 2022, eliminated the 250,000 vehicle phase-out, but added compliance requirements for sourcing that introduced significant complexity. It's not just U2018 okay, here's a tax credit. It's U2018 here is a tax credit, and then here's 100,000 pages in the Code of Federal Regulations. And then here are all these other little attachments in terms of sourcing requirements, said Chad Cummings, CEO of Cummings Law. It's just a compliance nightmare. And then there's a kind of class issue at work, starting with how EVs tend to emerge as high-end luxury vehicles for well-heeled buyers and then trickle down from there. EV buyers tend to be those who have high household incomes, those who can support two vehicles, those who have excellent or good credit ratings, said Todd Cassidy, managing director at Portage Point Partners. That has created an opportunity for opponents to disparage the credit. The Republican National Committee's 2022 fact sheet on the EV tax credits called them a giveaway to the rich. You get the idea. It was a lot of things, and Automotive News story is worth a read in full, but I'll go deeper into some of this. You also had car dealers who were reluctant to learn how EVs work, install charging systems at their shops, or even educate their customers about how to live with these cars. Then you have the fact that, quite frankly, not all of these EVs were that good, not at first anyway. Most EVs were, candidly, first draft efforts that are just now starting to feel dialed in. And then you had the petroleum companies, which even the biggest automakers could never hope to compete against. From disinformation campaigns to political spending to driving the partisan wedge even further, the gas industry managed to come out ahead on this one. Basically, it was a lot of things, and it is entirely possible that these credits or pro-EV regulations would have been axed even if Trump hadn't been elected. What happens to the American market now is anyone's guess. Most experts and analysts are expecting EV sales dips in the immediate quarters. But over time, and as EV technology evolves, it will come into its own more naturally. That doesn't do much for cleaner air in the meantime, however. And without the help and extra push, it may mean our current slate of automakers won't be the ones making the cars of tomorrow. Source: reposted and summarized from Patrick George at insideevs.